Time to call a meeting to order. Roll call.
Barker?
Here.
Sorry. McCain?
Here.
Wertz?
Here.
Hyen? Here. Johnson?
Here.
Rust?
Here.
Hanfelder?
Here.
Trent?
Here. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Time for public comment.
Good evening. I'm Gerald Mosier. I speak tonight as a faculty member and a citizen of the district. I have a direct message tonight. I want to voice my encouragement for you to approve the faculty contract that is an item on your agenda. You should show that you trust your own team, who have found the contract fair and satisfactory. They present it to you for your approval tonight. That's how I understand things. As I have continually suggested to you in my previous addresses, money is not an absolute value. My review of the terms of the contract shows no exorbitant cost to the college. It has a number of provisions that make working conditions more attractive for faculty, more rewarding for committing their careers to the well-being of the college. I have difficulty fathoming what objections you might have. Or if you do have objections, it would seem, if you do have such objections, it would seem you desire to alienate faculty further and perhaps even alienate staff and administration as well, as this would be a demonstration of uncompromising and unreasonable action. The president has signed off on this, as I understand it, and he is the leader of the institution. Will you undermine his standing because of your personal ideology? I hope not. This is a simple matter. Faculty desire to do their jobs, follow their careers on behalf of the college. The college should desire that its employees are satisfied with their working conditions and remain committed to keeping Lewis and Clark as one of the top 150 community colleges in the country. I don't know, maybe we have fallen from that position given all the turmoil that has occurred in the school. I don't know how we really stand now, but we were at one point. If the board professes to have the interests of the college at heart, you will approve this contract. There has been enough turmoil in the college. It needs stability. Approving the contract is one good step toward providing that stability. Rejecting it only creates more instability and dissolves what little trust you will have with the faculty. Please do the right thing. Give us hope for a better future for Lewis and Clark. Thank you.
Any other comment? If not, updates, budget presentation.
Yes, sir. This year's fiscal year 23 tentative budget reflects the continued endeavor the college is focusing on with our student-centered strategic plan. The college has a history of accomplishment in teaching and learning, programs, and economic development, all in service to our people in the district, the region, and across the state. As has been reported each month within our budget health review, we expect to end fiscal year 22 with revenues exceeding expenditures. As in the past, the entire team has done a remarkable job of staying within budget while focusing on growing enrollment strategies and team building. For fiscal year 23 budget, here's the outline. As to the tentative budget presented tonight for fiscal year 23, all of us, and I want to put particular attention to our fiscal team led by Mary Schulte, Cindy McCoy, for their tremendous work in guiding and facilitating the budget that you have in front of you. Everyone has worked very hard to construct this budget. Based on fiscal year 23 allocations, we are, however, receiving approximately $424,000 decrease in our share of the funding from the state and distributed across the statewide community college system. This is in part based on numbers from fiscal year 21. There's a little bit of a back lag. The Lewis and Clark budget is responsible and accountable while at the same time allowing for targeted growth by funding several replacement full-time faculty positions in the following program areas: nursing, child development, and a combined position in art and computer graphics web design. As you know from our reorganizational structure work extending well over a year now, we continue to carefully evaluate each position that becomes open and are working to construct positions in a way that represent a long-term essential need for the institution. One recent example on tonight's agenda is an information security analyst role for your consideration. This is one role that really was an outcome of our recent cyber attack, and as we step back, we realize that we do need additional support within our IT team. We are also looking at student advocacy roles in student affairs, another example of looking at how do we shift just a little bit to provide our team members with an even stronger opportunity to serve our students. The fiscal year 23 operating budget philosophy continues to be bottom up, with every division on campus participating in the process. The fiscal year 23 tentative operating budget is in excess of $32.1 million and represents an increase of $297,500 over fiscal year 22's operating budget. The fiscal year 23 budget places special emphasis on the strategic plan, marketing, and enrollment and recruitment, while maintaining reliability in other support functions of the college. As with other years, it is important to emphasize the work being done by our team members in securing competitive grants and contracts. I would like to make it known that in addition to what is considered the operating budget, $32.1 million, there is approximately an additional $8.5 million budgeted in competitive program grants and contracts to fund services, innovation, research, and instruction. As you recall, last year we created the Department of College Effectiveness and Grant Management, which is where we centralize all of our grant efforts and work. And I want to also thank Brett Reinert and his team for doing a tremendous job of helping frame a lot of our efforts and also linking all of our grants to our strategic plan. The state budget also includes reappropriation of prior capital bill projects in its fiscal year 23 plan. In addition to the $37.5 million for the purpose of completely renovating the main complex, money has been reappropriated for a daycare facility, engineering annex, and work on the Trimpe greenhouse. The four project appropriations combined total is $42,960,000. All of the projects are appropriated from the Capital Development Bond Fund. We are still awaiting guidance from the state as to how and when these funds for the latter three projects will be released and made available to the institution to pursue these projects. Some additional highlights of the fiscal year 23 budget: continuance of fully insured group health for full-time employees at an increase of 3.4%, salary increases to full-time faculty and non-faculty team members of 6%. I want to make a note here that this increase may seem a bit high. However, last year we took a much more conservative approach in my direction with the plan that this year we would try to do a little bit more. So I'm happy to say that we've been able to build this increase into the budget. The total operating budget is just under $32.2 million in revenue. 21.2% of the budget, approximately $6.8 million, comes from the state of Illinois through the Illinois Community College Board. 48.1%, approximately 15.5%, comes from the college district. 25.8%, approximately $8.3 million, comes from tuition and fees. And just under 1%, approximately $300,000, represents other sources such as sales and services, investment revenue, and facility rentals. 4.1%, approximately $1.3 million, are funds potentially transferred in from the technology plan and indirect costs from the restricted grants and programs. The operating budget reflects revenues to be approximately $54,700 more than expenses for fiscal year '23. Total operating budget fund expenditures total approximately, again, $32.1 million. More than one half, 60.6% of the total budget is in direct support of instruction, academic support, and student services. Our fiscal year '22 budget was 60.3%, so a slight increase. Operations and maintenance represents 19.3% of the budget, 19.3% of the budget. Fiscal year '23 was 18.8%. Institutional support, scholarships, and public service present 17.4% of the budget. Fiscal year '22 was 18.5%, so slightly a decrease this year. The interfund transfers represent 2.7% of the budget. Fiscal year '22 was 2.4%. Total salaries are 62.8% of the total operating budget. Fiscal year '22 was 63.1%, so we've actually seen just a slight decrease there as well. I want to again thank the team, the board, everyone who's been involved, which is everybody, in being responsible in our budget and working within the guidelines of our budget and doing tremendous work in your respective departments. So thank you for your hard work. We have, I think, a remarkable opportunity in front of us for fiscal year '23 to continue doing really positive work for our students. With this being said, I recommend this budget to the board for your review and approval in next month's meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Enrollment update.
Dr. Adams.
Good evening, everyone. So I have put at each of your seats an updated as of June 13th report. You did get your monthly report as well around the first of the month. So we are trending, for summer, we continue to trend down. We are working diligently to enroll folks. We are seeing new enrollees every day. So summer is still trending down. The good news is that fall is still trending close to that 3%. So we have a projected 2 to 3% increase. That is our goal for fall, and we are on target to meet that. We are also working diligently to get out in the community at community programming so that we can spread the word about the great resource that's here in our campus. We are planning Summerfest as well. So there's lots of things that are lined up to assist. We're working with marketing. So lots of things that are in play to help support enrollment. But at this moment, we are trending exactly where we want to be trending for fall. But we need to protect that and watch it closely, as we all know about summer melt that happens over the course of July and August, so early August. So our teams are focused, and we are, really in a good spot, I think. Summer, we could use more enrollments for summer. At this point, we are working on that, but, we thought we would see a bit more of a bump in June from transient students who come home for the summer from four-year schools and want to take an extra gen ed course to transfer back in, but we have not seen as much of that activity as we anticipated. So I'm happy to entertain any questions that you have.
So comparing the two columns, it's comparing at this point in time last year, right?
Yes.
So,
Prior year, same day.
yeah. So we're showing an increase, which I'm happy about, and we've also done a lot of programs to get kids to sign up earlier, right? So could it be, as we catch up here, so kids that signed up last year may have signed up later. I don't know, but you're still optimistic we're going to have more? You know what I'm saying? I didn't explain it very well.
I am still optimistic because we are a late registration campus. For whatever reason, historically, we see astronomical registration. I mean, they're backed out the door the week before the term starts into the first week. And so some of that won't change with continuing students, right? So that's a habit. They kind of know that's how it works. So I think most of this is probably high school, what we're seeing here. So are we ahead? I think we actually are ahead because I think we've got more continuing students that have yet to register. As a continuing student, I think this is mostly new admits. And the data does bear that out. I don't have that report in front of me, but yes. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
The omnibus agenda, motion to approve all the items unless board members wish to pull any items from there for separate vote.
Yeah, Chairman, I'd like to pull L, please.
Any others?
Yes, I'd like to pull, in addition to L, K, M, and Q for separate discussion.
K, M, and Q, you say?
Correct.
Motion to approve the agenda, the omnibus agenda with exception of L. Yeah, K, L, M, and Q, okay. Need a motion? Brenda, second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote?
Barker,
Yes.
McCain. Yes. Wertz.
Yes.
Hyen. Johnson.
Yes?
Rust.
Yes.
Hanfelder.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
First one, motion to approve K, adjustment to accounts receivable. Need a motion to approve? Brenda, second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion?
Yeah, I just had a question. I guess it's probably for Mary. Could you expand a little bit on what it means to, when it says return of Title IV funds? I don't-
Sure. To some degree, I know enough to be scary, but that's actually a calculation that is performed by our financial aid office when a student stops attending. There are Department of Ed regulations that require a student to attend 60% of the term before they're entitled to full aid. So if they drop or stop attending prior to that point in the semester, we have to return a portion of the aid if it has already been dispersed to them. This is usually the biggest part of our write-offs each year. In fact, the amount that we're looking at this year, the 18.5, is the smallest that I have in the history. We have had as much as several hundred thousand, and the biggest section is always the return to Title IV. Now, we've been lucky to receive GEAR funds from the state that have allowed us to pay off a lot of these balances, because to receive Title IV aid, you have a certain level of need. And so we've had a good year, actually. Is that?
Thank you, and you did confirm that, my memory, I didn't go back and look, but I thought this was a lot less than it was last year.
I think last year was right under 100,000. I have like 90,
I think so,
98,
yeah.
99,000, and that was a low year. I thought I had brought the history from 2003 forward, but the numbers, this is more in line with pre-return to Title IV days. And then when we hit that, numbers went up. Thanks.
Any further discussion? Call for the vote?
Barker,
Yes.
McCain. Wertz.
Yes.
Hyen. Johnson.
Yes?
Rust.
Yes.
Hanfelder.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Motion to approve bid information, item L. Need a motion to approve? A second? Okay. Any discussion? Dwight?
Yes, Chairman. This is to bid out audit services. I know we had discussion on changing auditors is not an industry standard recommended practice, but we did anyway. But Sheffield Boyle is only $2,650 less than the recommended auditing firm that they're recommending here. Sheffield Boyle used to do this college. They do the Madison County now. They have 3 or 4 offices based in our district. They pay taxes in our district. Their employees live and pay taxes in our district, and they support the school. I think for $2,650 that we should give the hometown guys the consideration. And I highly suggest we look at Sheffield Boyle for auditing.
President, do you want to clarify why we chose the one we did? Or why the staff is recommending the auditors?
Yeah, so we had a committee, and essentially it was the experience with community colleges, having a bit of a track record there, takes a little bit more pressure off the finance team. So that was it. It was just weighing that expertise. Mary, if you want to chime in, you can, but yeah, that was the primary. And who we chose is a little bit higher as well, so.
Right, we chose the firm that has a significant amount of community college experience. I believe they are serving around 9 community colleges right now. I don't disagree with you, though. I would love to have a local firm. It has lots of advantages, but they did not have community college experience, and that has been expressed as an important factor in the next selection. So that is what drove that decision.
He used to do this college.
It would have been before me.
It was. And then Schlosser done it for 20 years, but they also do Madison County. I think they are well experienced.
And I actually spoke with someone from that firm, and while she acknowledged that they didn't necessarily have the community college experience, they have audited other governmental agencies. They're familiar with the statement of federal awards. They're familiar with a lot of the reports that have to be completed. They just haven't done recently, I'm assuming, done what they would call community college. But yes, they are very interested, and I think that would be ideal if they had the experience.
I just think for the property taxes, and all their employees live in our district, and the taxes that they pay, we should support them.
If that should be the decision of the board, I have no issues with that.
Yeah, we wouldn't have an issue with that.
I think as a former auditor that Mary has some good points, and I think we should trust the staff's judgment on this and go with what the team has come up with. I like their recommendation.
Any other discussion?
Yes, I have a question on the last item on authorization to request bids and proposals. Starts out, that says partner with Lewis and Clark Community College. I've read that description about 4 times, and I still don't understand exactly what the bid is for. Are they consultants? Are we looking for consultants?
Which one are you, which one are you, I'm
We
sorry.
have a section that's called authorization to request bids. And that's the last, it's page 128.
Oh, okay. Authorization to,
Yeah,
I'm
that's,
not, Oh, okay, I can't.
It would be a subcontract with an entity that can provide expertise for our construction work, our construction offerings.
I mean, who are we expecting a bid from?
Well, we're hoping Revolution Workshop might be a potential bidder.
Who was that again? I'm sorry.
Revolution Workshop from Chicago.
Okay, I was wondering, that's what RW stands for, Revolution Workshop?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
okay.
we
But
put
they
this
would-
together pretty
but they would
quickly,
bid
so
for it,
you know,
This is the one we just finalized.
And this is something new.
yes.
Yeah.
It's nothing,
part
it's
of
nothing
a-
new?
It's part of another effort that we're putting together, and so we needed to get it in for your approval prior to what we hope will be a grant that's approved, that we're waiting to hear about. So we needed to get the bid approved by you before we could get it out, once the grant comes in, if it does, which we're hopeful that it will. I don't know if that makes any sense to you.
Do you have a dollar amount? I notice none of these have a dollar amount. I think there ought to be at least an estimate of some sort of how much we're expecting to.
We're expecting it to be around 50,000, but it's part of a
50,000?
grant that would pay for that. All of it is waiting approval.
Can you explain the grant that we're going for to kind of frame it? Yeah,
Sure.
may help.
So we're applying with Madison County Employment and Training to get expertise into our construction pathway, but also to develop an employer advisory group and maintain that group in the region. And that employer group would, do like our advisory groups do here at the college, but it would be broader based around the construction industry. And so we're bidding that work out to someone with expertise in the construction industry, if that makes sense.
And the award so we put the bid out, but the award that we receive would cover that expense, that investment, so.
The timing's strange.
Right, we're
because
sort of putting the cart before the horse by design, so.
But because we have to get your approval to put a bid out, we have to wait till we get the grant, which we should find out in the next week. It's just we're just trying to have your approval to get the bid out when we find out about the grant.
Right,
Is this through Tony Furman's group?
Yes.
yeah.
And it's for more than like high school students, right? It's
Yes.
like this
It's for
employment-
adults, yeah.
Yeah, adults. Okay, adults, that's the difference. Okay.
In fact, that's what it adds to what we do now. It
Okay.
allows us to work with everyone that would be eligible for those adult services.
And we don't have any kind of employer advisory council now, or
No, we don't really have construction
just for
here.
construction?
Right,
Okay.
good, thanks.
Any further questions, discussion? Call for the vote?
Barker,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
McCain. Wertz,
No.
Hyen. Johnson,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Hanfelder.
Yes.
Motion for M, contracts requiring board approval. Need a motion? Second?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, I just have a question really about, most of the items or their funding sources says Department of Energy, iGen grant. Are we handling these, not sure who I'm asking this question of, but are we handling these because of their kind of tails or part of the old previous contract that we had as fiscal agent? Because we're not fiscal agent anymore, so.
Correct. This is year 3 of a 3-year grant that we had in place. It was originally scheduled to end at May 31st, but it was extended through 12/31 of '22. So this was, yeah, it was actually a grant that we had received 3 years, Department of Energy, when we were fiscal agent, and we are the named recipient of the grant.
Is that all of it then?
Thank you.
Yes.
Is that all of it?
Yes.
It's final year.
Any other questions, discussion? Call for the vote?
Barker,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent,
Yes.
McCain, Hyen.
Motion to approve Q, personnel.
Vote. Second.
Okay, got a first and second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a few things I was wondering about here. It seems like, is it my imagination, or are we having a pretty high turnover now for some reason? We have, and how many open positions do we have?
Is Gabe here? Do you know how many?
Not, besides adjunct, we always have a lot of adjunct open positions, but.
Dr. T, I am here by Zoom.
Especially concerned about the fact we're losing a lot of maintenance technicians.
Yes, we are. We currently have 5 open positions. We do have a hire on tonight, and I know they did interviews all day today for those open tech positions. So a number of retirements in the maintenance area, as well as we've had some health issues as well over time. But you know, I don't know if Gabe is on. I don't want to speak. I mean, I'm literally theorizing, but we're seeing a lot more turnover, to your point, Mr. Rust, than we ever have before. Our labor market is challenging. So I'm hoping with some of the things that we'll put in place and some of the policies that the board have passed will make us a much more attractive place for potential hires moving forward. But we're going through some transition, I guess you could say.
How many open positions do you think we have?
I would have to look. I know Laura Fallon just sent around, I know Dr. Traska shared with you we're sending it out weekly, just our open positions. I would say there's at least 20 full-time positions.
I would say 20.
Which has been pretty average, actually, for the last few months, but we're really seeing a lot of retirements this time of year, which is also normal, but. Yeah.
Okay, that answers my question, I think.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Call for the vote?
Barker,
Yes.
McCain, Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Action items. A, revised term of strategic plan. Motion to approve. Second?
Second.
Discussion?
If there's any questions, let us know. We took the last 3 or 4 months to sort of reset the strategic plan, as I've shared with the board in some updates. So we have some new key direction leads. We've had a couple of forums on campus that I think total participation was around 140 team members. We're just under 40 individuals who've actually signed up to be part of what we're now calling aspiration mover teams. So these are the teams that are really organized underneath each key direction to drive home the work that we're going to be doing over the next 3 years. An important part of the plan going forward too is twice per year, still thinking about how I want to frame this, but we're going to do sort of a State of Trailblazer Nation update, so to speak, where we will actually use the strategic plan as a guide to sort of look at our benchmarks, where we started, and the progress we're making. Also within that, we're not going to be afraid to say, hey, we're not doing as well as we thought, so there may be some opportunity for adjustment or tweaking. But this is ultimately asking the board to just extend us 1 more year. The big part of that too was last year was a bit of a difficult year, especially starting in the fall. So we really didn't get a chance to get any momentum. So this plan would run July 1, 22 through June 30th of 2025 and give us 3 good years to really focus on continuing to Crow, Lewis, and Clark. So we appreciate your consideration. I don't know, Brett, if you want to add anything, but yeah, thanks.
Brett, I'm wondering when we're going to see this fabulous dashboard to tell us how it's going? Is that what you mean, the 6-month
Well,
checkup
yeah, like
thing?
I'm thinking probably end of fall and then end of spring.
Yeah,
We'll do
end
sort
of each
the-
semester.
Yeah.
Right, right now, like we had an organizational meeting today, for instance, with the remaining KD leads. And so the idea is, so this first few months, the first quarter is going to be spent in identifying exactly what those measurable outcomes are going to be. And we talked a little bit about that today, about how they have to be definable, they have to be measurable, they have to be quantifiable, and then they have to be simple enough to explain to the general public, right? And so we're working on that in the first quarter with the hopes of in the second quarter having some sort of a preliminary dashboard in place.
Okay,
That make sense?
I'll hold you to it.
Okay, thank you.
But it's no use to have a plan if you don't have a way to monitor it, so
Yeah,
that's a very key thing.
absolutely.
Any other statements, questions? Call for the vote?
Barker,
Yes.
McCain. Trent,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen. Johnson,
Yes,
Rust,
Yes?
Hanfelder.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item B, MOA with the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second. Motion made and second. Thank you. Any discussion?
Dr. Artis is prepared to answer any questions.
Call for the vote?
Barker,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
McCain. Hyen. Johnson,
yes,
Rust,
Yes?
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Item C, the RAMP program. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion. Discussion? Vote?
Barker,
Yes.
McCain. Wertz.
Yes.
Hyen. Johnson,
yes,
Rust,
Yes?
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Item D, ratify collective bargaining agreement and teaching and engagement model MOU with LCFA 2022 to 2025. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made, second. Any discussion?
Not exactly, but maybe, does this include the memorandum of agreement, which is like the kind of the preamble to the contract? I would assume it does, okay.
Okay. The memorandum of agreement is part of the collective bargaining agreement. So if you vote on the collective bargaining agreement, you're voting on the memorandum of agreement in addition to the TEM MOU.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other discussion? Call for the vote?
Barker,
Yes.
McCain. Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen. Johnson,
yes,
Rust,
Yes?
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Motion passed. E, Resolution 2214. Motion to approve.
Second. Motion.
Second. Any discussion? Call for the vote?
Barker,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
McCain. Hyen.
Yes.
Johnson,
yes,
Rust,
Yes?
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Item F, Resolution 2215, Working Cash Transfer. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second. Motion made. Discussion? Vote?
Barker,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
McCain. Hyen.
Yes.
Johnson,
yes,
Rust,
Yes?
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
G, Resolution 22-16. Motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
Okay. Thank you. Discussion? Call for- Any discussion? Vote?
Barker,
Yes.
McCain. Wertz,
Yes.
Hyen.
Yes.
Johnson,
yes,
Rust,
Yes?
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Item H, Resolution 22-17, motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion been made, second? Okay. Discussion? Vote?
Barker,
Yes.
Wertz.
Yes.
McCain. Hyen. Johnson,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Aye, Resolution 22-18, motion to approve. Motion to approve, second?
Second.
Discussion? Vote?
Barker,
Yes.
McCain. Wertz.
Yes.
Hyen. Johnson,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Hanfelder,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you. Informational items? Anyone have any questions or presentations on that?
Brett is available for questions on informational items as they relate to grants, sponsored contracts. If not, thank you.
Okay, item E, LCFA update.
Sorry, everyone. Hello and good evening. I'm Debbie Witzkin, and as president of the Lewis and Clark Faculty Association, I am pleased to speak to you upon the successful ratification of our contract. So thank you so much for those of you on the board who voted yes. This contract opens a new era for Lewis and Clark and for the faculty, and we are excited to explore new ways of recruiting and retaining students, to work with Dr. Traska and our administration to achieve new program stability and pursue new opportunities for faculty engagement in all aspects of Lewis and Clark. We also applaud the commitment of the college to fair working conditions and faculty compensation that seeks to meet the demands of the current economic climate. I believe that a new era of cooperation, vision, and engagement are important steps towards paving a better future for the faculty, staff, and students of Lewis and Clark. And we look forward to pursuing this new era with you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you. Item F, main complex project discussion.
I'll go ahead and start this one off. Just a quick update. Next week, we have a meeting with our architects, and Trustee Wertz will be part of that as part of our Building and Grounds Committee. Going to be doing a tour of the full complex just to sort of walk the architect and engineer team through that. And then once that happens, we will meet with the extended main complex, quote-unquote, mover team that was developed well over a year ago now. And then we'll begin the journey of sort of conceptualizing and fleshing through ideas to move forward. I know there were some questions from Trustee Russ, so I'm going to hand it over to you, sir, on the project, and be happy to entertain any of those questions that may come up. Thank you.
Well, questions or comments, whatever you want to call them. I wonder if there would be any problem, and a matter of fact, a lot of places it's done. It's not always done, but there, on a project this size, to me, there should be a trustee, one, or better yet, two trustees that are there as part of the mover team, or whatever you want to call it, the project team. And I would hope that maybe Dwight would volunteer to do that. I know he's a busy businessman, but, and I mean, we don't have to decide that right now, of course, but that just would be my recommendation anyway. The other thing is I guess, at what point will we really have a firm hold on the scope of the project? And when I say the scope of the project, I mean, I doubt very much if this board is going to commit more than $12.5 million of matching money. So that's going to maybe limit the scope right there. I don't think that, and that 12.5 million has always been stated as a tentative number. It could be as much as 12.5 million. And so that the scope of the project needs to be tailored to the needs of the college, not tailored to the amount of money that we can get from Springfield. And as an example of a scope change, not change, but limitation, or whatever you want to call it, or consideration, I think it's likely that that we don't have to have a complete renovation of all of the floors of every one of those pertinent buildings. Maybe we only need to renovate 2 floors. So, it's kind of a moot point. My other point is it's kind of a moot point, I guess, maybe, because it probably can't happen, and it should have happened years ago when this project was first brought up. It should have been considered whether we should renovate those buildings or if we should build a new building. And even now, I think that the dollars could actually be in favor of building a new building, but that's an architectural decision, obviously. But just kind of ballparking it, I think it's quite possible. And you certainly could come up with a building that would be much more easily molded to be the kind of building that we want to educate our students, rather than trying to shoehorn something into 4 100-year-old plus buildings. And anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say at this point about the project, but I would hope that we would maybe, is there any, probably there's no other further update other than the fact that the A&Es or architects are going to come in and have a look now. And when is that?
23rd of June.
23rd?
Yeah. And so the idea always was that the Building and Grounds Committee of the board would be participating on that committee. So that would be, at this point, Dwight and Chuck.
Well, yeah, I mean, that sounds like a good idea, but if you involve both of the members of the Building and Grounds Committee, then it becomes subject to the Open Meetings Act.
Yeah, but we'll have
which may not
one-
be a good idea for you. I don't
We'll
know.
have one of them there, on, and they could sort of switch off, and then, while we're giving updates periodically to the board on progress with the project, then, of course, the board will have
But
had
it's
some.
really not too much to report, yeah.
Yeah. No, so what they're anticipating is that probably, is it 18 to 24 months, Lori, of the design and scope? So I think during that time, that's really where kind of this back and forth that you're talking about is going to happen, where we're really going to determine what this scope is, what the, what's realistic, what's not realistic within essentially the budget that we have. There are certain things we can't do, or certain things we need to do at a smaller scale, then we have to make those determinations. And so I know there will be pretty regular updates with the board as that process evolves and moves forward. So after next week, we'll give you a full update on what happens on that 23rd and what their ideas are.
Kevin, I've already made arrangements to be there for the 23rd meeting.
So I just want to confirm, so many of the things that happen, big decisions or whatever, the board has brought in the last step, okay, we have this for you, please approve it. I don't want this to be one of those situations where, we're presented with a plan that goes, 3, 4 million, 10 million over, what our budget is. I want us to have a set budget. We're not going to go over it. That has to be a key thing for me. So I'm hoping you've committed to that before.
Yeah,
So
absolutely,
just
yeah.
openly, one more time, you're going to commit to not
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
come to us with
No,
a project that is way over what we initially determined to spend.
Right.
Okay.
And Ken, I was just going to point out, when we had our initial virtual meeting with Hastings and Shavetta, they are building into their contract that they're finalizing now with CDB a number of board appearances. They'll be here also providing an update directly to the full board, and we'll continue to keep the Buildings and Grounds Committee apprised of updated activity as we go. It's going to be a really busy 18 to 24-month period, but we understand its importance to all of you.
I have a question for Dennis, so that it's not an Open Meetings Act violation. Dwight's going to be there, but could Kevin or myself or Brenda or Larry be there? That way it wouldn't be a committee, it would just be 2 board members.
Yeah, that could be possible if it's not 2 members of the same committee. You would still be under less than a majority of a quorum of board members, I think we'd want to talk about that. But as long as it's not two board members from the same committee. Or you could always post it as a public meeting and as well.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. So Larry, if you wanted to attend with Dwight, you could. Or Brenda. Okay. Thank you. We're done with that. Leadership team reports.
Gary?
Gary?
Good evening. In the spirit of an efficient meeting, I'm going to be brief. I'd like to start off, though, by introducing our new Director of Operations and Strategic Initiatives, Dr. Paige Metler-Cherry. Paige comes to us from Southwestern Illinois College, where she recently served as Dean of Math and Science, previously of Lindenwood University. She's a researcher, an administrator, a teacher, and has the complete package to get this job done for us. In addition, she's also a leading expert on a threatened species in the floodplain area of the state, Boltonia decurrens, which is a threatened species, and Paige has a long-term research interest in that particular species and is a known recognized expert. So we're really excited about getting Paige into this position, and I think she'll be a breath of fresh air to our organization. Additionally, I wanted to mention just 2 or 3 things. This is our 20th anniversary year. So this fall, we will be hosting a kickoff event in the early fall to recognize the development of NGRIC over the last 20 years and to take a look at future directions of the National Great Rivers Program. We'll probably bring in some early folks that were involved in the development of the program, and we'll also look internally in terms of thinking about how we want to move into the next 20 years. So we're excited about that, and I'll keep you posted as we firm up the date and get this in mind. That initial event will kick off a series of symposia touching on critical river topics, watershed topics, human topics that will occur throughout the next year. So it'll be an initial event followed by 3 or 4 or 5 other symposium events that occur throughout the coming year. So we're excited about that. I just wanted to put it on your agenda so that you can be thinking about it, and I will keep you posted on that. The field station is full right now. Every space is fully occupied. We've got our full complement of summer interns, both the National Science Foundation research experience for undergraduates and the NGRIC intern program. So we've got students running all over the place. It's an exciting place to be. So if you have an opportunity to drop by and check it out, feel free to do so. Interestingly, we're at about 450 interns over the 20-year period. And many of those interns have gone into true leadership positions in the natural resource arena. So we're excited about these intern programs, and the latest edition of the National Science Foundation funded program is a real asset to what we're doing. And as I mentioned earlier in a meeting previously, we're the only community college that has an NSF REU program. So that's quite an achievement on behalf of both the college and National Great Rivers. And then finally, I just want to close by mentioning that last week, we hosted a meeting of the National Council of Environmental Legislators, and that's a national group which focuses on legislative folks that are interested in environmental issues. And so they travel around the country hosting events. They hosted an event at the field station last week for Illinois legislators. We had a good turnout of folks. our local legislators as well as folks from all over the state. And it was an exceptional event. We got a lot of positive feedback from not only our local folks, Representative Amy Ellick, Senator Crow, but a variety of other legislators that have been long-term supporters of National Great Rivers as well. So with that, unless you have any questions, I'll close and let Dr. Trask give the President's report.
Gary, could we call 2022 the year of the NGRAC?
The year of the NGRAC?
The year of the NGRAC. I think it's 20 years, and I think you must have hired a publicist, because I think I see NGRAC in the newspaper and Telegraph every day, just about. You're doing something.
Well, we've made an extra effort to be more visible, and that is correct. We, with our expanded funding this year, we have hired a media specialist, and so we're attempting to be a lot more visible in terms of contributions both to the community, the region, the state, and to the campus. So hopefully you'll see a lot of that, yes. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. I'll keep mine brief. So last Thursday, Friday, Saturday was the Illinois Community College Trustees Association President Council meetings, and I'll start by saying just a congratulations. I know it's out there already on social media. I've sent some messages out to the board and the full team, but Brandon Huff and Brad Wynn were both nominated for Faculty Member of the Year. Brandon was nominated, and Brad, as our adjunct faculty member, won Adjunct Faculty of the Year. So want to congratulate Brad publicly and just say awesome job, and of course Brandon. You know, they're both just doing amazing work, so thank you. Another interesting discussion at the president meeting, which is good, is in December, the American Association of Community Colleges is going to be hosting through what's called a Governance Leadership Institute in Chicago for boards across Illinois. So I'm hoping that our board's able to participate, to travel to Chicago and engage in that work. Oftentimes, those are retreats that are held either in Washington, D.C., or dare I say, Hawaii, and it's opportunities for the board to, you know, build their team and also to work with the president. So, well, it should be exciting, and we're waiting on that information, but we had the president of the American Council of Community College Trustees there speaking with the president group. There was a mention of positions open. We have quite a few leadership roles open, so right now we just finalized our 3 final candidates for the athletic director role. Those individuals will be on our campus next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The Vice President for Academic Affairs review of applications is underway. Vice President for Student Affairs and the Interim Vice President for Student Affairs roles have been posted as of this week, and the Dean of Liberal Arts is currently underway as well. So we hope to have recommendations to the board, you know, between July and hopefully August for, I mean, at least 2 or 3 of these positions. It's just all going to depend on the pool and how the interviews scope out. I did send an email out to the board today, and of course we'll have more discussion on this, but around the District 7 partnership, and you know, there is interest in expanding and in sort of elevating that partnership at our N.O. Nelson campus, and really the concept is that becomes sort of a regional sort of center for workforce and career training. So not only with District 7, but for other schools in our region. So we're pretty excited about the opportunities that are in front of us with District 7. We continue to work on workforce development partnerships, and one of the initiatives that the leadership team has been working on is really to fold over the West work over into the academic area. And another part of that is sort of this pre-apprenticeship to apprenticeship work, which Val alluded to a little bit. And that's really where that partnership with Revolution Workshop evolved, which originally was focused on East St. Louis, but we now have a focus on the Alton area. So I'll continue to keep the board updated on that and of course seek feedback from you as we move that forward. We talked a little bit about enrollment, and I know that it's trending up, and that's a good thing. But I think a big part of that is this stuff takes time, and there are lots of initiatives. There's going to be an update on the high school liaison project, which really was conceptualized about a year ago, and that's gone really well. I think currently we have 9 partner schools. We're looking at expanding that to, I think, 14, possibly 15, but that's where we actually have a more permanent and daily presence in the high schools to help build those bridges back to Lewis and Clark. Another piece that we're seeing, both with Bethalto, District 7, Jerseyville, is having students consider coming to Lewis and Clark as concurrent enrolled students, not dual credit. So there's a lot of opportunities that are happening behind the scenes, and I know not only the student affairs team, but the academic team, the faculty, I mean, everybody's sort of doing their part to keep their finger not only on the pulse of what needs to be happening, but being engaged in the work itself. So I'm just really happy with that. The last thing I'll say here is I did get a chance last Monday to leave for Houston, came back Tuesday and met with Luis Aguilera, who's the CEO and founder of the Houston Area Safety Coalition. And I'll say that meeting was really, really positive. I appreciate the board's support in allowing me to take that trip, because I had not had that opportunity to really understand what HASC does, what the partnership really is with Lewis and Clark. So it gave me an opportunity to understand that at a deeper level, but also to understand what opportunities do exist beyond what we're currently doing. So we're continuing to work on that partnership and hopefully be able to refine some things, and look forward to hopefully continuing to work with HASC as we sort of shape our future with them and its alignment with some of our workforce partners. I think there's a lot of opportunity that we've missed in the past, and I think we have the opportunity to do some different things. So I'll keep the board updated on that as well. And I guess the last thing, so I lied, is in August I'm planning on a leadership retreat with the campus leadership team off campus, looking at a full, pretty deeply engaged day. We're not necessarily going to talk about work stuff. We're actually going to just connect as a team and spend some time kind of getting to know each other a little bit better. And I've got a few guest speakers coming in, some in person, some virtual, just to kind of provide us some insights and perspective, so that way I can also participate in that work. So just again, thank you everyone for the hard work. I want to thank the board for your support of not only our faculty contract, but the extension of the strategic plan and believing in the work that we've put in front of you. So thank you again, everyone, and let's keep trailblazing forward, no pun intended. Thank you.
Okay, this regular meeting is adjourned. I need a motion to go to the closed session.
Motion.
Second? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming.